This is a small group discussion with J. Krishnamurti at Rishi Valley, 1978.
So come and sit there, so more comfortable. Achit coming?
No, he's not coming, sir.
Pama is put it.
So I wanted to ask you something I have been observing over the last 30 years as I have listened to you. I'm first going to speak of your approach to the unfoldment of a problem in the process of discussion. You say there is no way, but as I have observed you, a certain, don't call it a way if you like, but a certain process. I will use the word process. I'll use the word process. Methodology is too hard a word. Has revealed itself. And I would like to investigate the way you receive a question and what follows after that. The actual way you penetrate into a question. Because I've tried to observe with great intensity, and this is coming through to me, and I wanted to know whether what I feel is valid or not valid. This is as if I'm trying to explore your mind, Krishnaji. And forgive me.
Exploring my mind.
Forgive me by putting it this way, but I'm trying to explore your mind. Because in exploring your mind, possibly we are laying bare the whole way of exploration which we are getting bogged down with. Now, if I may first ask you a question. I have put this question to you.
Which question?
How do you receive a question which is put to you? Could we go into the state of mind which receives?
Right. How does K receive? How does K when a question is put to him, how does he proceed with the answer of it? I think he would say first he listens. Listens without any conclusion, without any barrier. And because I think there is no hindrance, it is could I use the word empty? The mind being empty in the sense that there are no preconceived answers or answers that have been given, and therefore recording those answers. There is no remembrance of previous answers and so on. In that sense, I'm using the word empty. There is no conclusion, there is no remembrance of a question, perhaps the same question which had been answered before, and so on. There is a state of I think that would be right to say, of an emptiness. And out of that, K answers.
Now, in this state, what is the function of attention? There is a function of attention which is searching. Attention also searches. Attention, if it does not search, what happens to the question? You see, it may receive it in emptiness, but what actually happens to the question? Because you respond.
What?
You respond.
Yes. The question is put.
Yes.
There is a hearing of it. Not only the hearing of it with the ear, but also there is a hearing of it without the usual process of hearing, which means it is like a seed put into the earth, and the earth then acts upon the seed and so on. The seed acts upon the earth, and gradually out of that comes out a plant or a flower and so on. So I think that is what goes on. There is the question put, it is heard with the ear, and there is also a state in which the hearing is not with the ear, and out of that there is the answer.
You said something just now. See, if I may say it, when one observes you, it is as if your eyes are as much participating in the listening process as your ear. You have a listening eye, if I may put it. Now, I ask you, you have said there's a listening with the ear and there's a listening
without the ear.
Without the ear.
Yes.
Is it that a new instrument has come into being? An instrument which is not physical growth in the brain cell, but a new capacity, a new instrument.
I think so. I think that implies, Prabhuji, if we go into a little more, you see, I would like to answer this question by bringing into it another word, insight. Insight is a state of mind in which there is no memory, no remembrance, let's put it there. There is no conclusion. There is no sense of anticipation. There is no quality of a reaction. And more is involved in that. That I call insight. Now, when you ask a question, there is the hearing with the ear, and there is also a hearing with the non-ear, which means the mind is in a state where there is no remembrance, no conclusion, no previous recording of that question, and therefore replying to that question according to the memory. All that is being not there, there is an insight into the question.
Does this hearing with the non-ear come into being with the very ending of the processes of the mind, or is it something else?
And if that is, when there is an insight of that kind, the brain cells themselves undergo a change. When there is insight, that insight transforms the brain cells.
No, sir. I would like to. You have said there is a hearing with the ear and the hearing
with the non-ear.
With the non-ear. Now.
With no ear.
With no ear. You have said just now that insight brings about a change in the brain cells.
Yes.
Insight arises because of the non-hearing?
Yes. No. Hearing with no ear.
Now, can we investigate this hearing with the no ear? Or is it not possible to investigate it?
Let's find out.
Can you open this particular
thing? I understand. Let's hear. First, there is the hearing with the ear, which we all do. The vibrations and all the rest of it. And the hearing without the ear is like a tranquil pond, a lake that's completely quiet, and you drop a stone into it, it makes little waves till it disappears. I think that's what the state is when there is no hearing with the ear. There is absolute quietness of the mind, and then the question is popped into it, and then the response is that, the wave, little waves. I don't know if I'm making it clear.
This receiving,
huh?
This receiving of the question, this receiving of the question.
Yes. The question is the little stone or the stone dropped into the pond, which is completely quiet.
Now, is the pond the matrix of the mind?
What do you mean the matrix?
Is it mind only?
I don't quite know how to go into this. When you say the mind only, what do you mean by the mind?
That is, it is the totality of what has been. You see, consciousness, as you have said so often, is its content.
Yeah, its content, yeah.
It is fragmented. And the way we use it,
the very way,
the receiving into.
Now, wait a minute, look at it. Suppose the mind is the consciousness is fragmented, and you put a question to that fragmentary consciousness, the answer will be fragmentary.
But when the question comes, as you say, as a pebble into a pool,
that's right.
Is it the totality which
it
receives?
It is. You see, I think that's really quite interesting, which we should go into a little bit. Can the mind be so extraordinarily receptive that it has not only barrier, the past doesn't enter into it. I don't know if I make...
The past as the fragment.
Yeah, past is the fragment. So the past doesn't come into it at all.
When you use the phrase, there's a listening and there's a listening without the ear, shall I put it. Has it the same quality as listening? We know listening.
We know listening with the ear.
Now, what you use the word listening, it's a word.
Yes.
Now, is the listening without the ear?
Has that different quality from...
Is it of a different nature?
Oh yes, and obviously.
Now, what is that nature?
Obviously.
What is that nature?
Listening with the ear or hearing with the ear and the response from that listening to a question will necessarily be fragmented, right? That's obvious. But when there is a listening without the ear, that state of listening is not fragmented. Because listening with the ear implies the recording and the remembrance, and from a past knowledge, experience, answering the question. The other is there is no past involved in it at all. Therefore, it's not fragmentary answer. I think that's right.
Is the non-ear listening different from that which receives?
Which?
From that which receives.
I don't quite follow this. Let's be clear.
So a question is put. You say it's received
without the ear.
Without the ear. But there is a non-ear listening. You've used. Now, is that non-ear listening the same as that which receives?
Uh-huh. Yes, must be, of course. I think that simile is very good, that a pond is absolutely quiet. The question is popped into that pond. That pond is pure water, without all the pollution that man has put into it, which is the past, and so on. So that pond is clear, clean water. And into that, you put a question as a pebble, and the reply is the waves. I think that's how, at least with me, it functions.
Now, as there is a non-ear listening, there is also a non-eye seeing. As there is a non-ear listening, is there a non-eye seeing?
Yes. You mean the eye in the sense
of seeing.
The visual, the optical.
Optical.
Yes.
Can we go into the nature of that?
Oh, Lordy. So, let's see the hearing with the non-ear and seeing, the visual seeing without the past interfering with the seeing are the same. The hearing without the ear, the seeing, visual seeing, the optical seeing is the non-remembrance. No, the past doesn't interfere in either case. That's simply put.
So tradition maintains.
Huh?
Tradition maintains. Tradition. That the outward movement of the eye is a movement of focusing, of naming.
Yes.
The movement of the optic movement, now I'm putting it, optic movement which turns back, breaks through the naming process.
Huh?
Breaks through the naming process.
Yes.
Breaks the naming process. Dissolves the naming process. Is that so?
No.
It's not so.
No. No. At least, if I understand the question rightly, are you saying the optical vision going out,
Yes.
and then in the coming back from the outward movement to the inner movement?
No, that's not it.
Then I
No,
misunderstood.
No, sir. There is a movement outer, which we all know, which is the movement of seeing, registering, focusing, etc. Then there is for the sadhaka, I will use that word, sadhaka. That is a man who is going on the path of search. There is a movement of the eye within, away, the very optic seeing is thrown within, which breaks the naming process.
This
breaks the naming process.
breaks the
Naming process. The divisive process. In fact, it is given a name as the backward flowing movement. It's used in various ways by the Chinese, but they call it the backward flowing movement.
Forward movement and backward movement.
And not the forward movement turning backwards. But an optic, the senses would move out, and the sense which does not move out.
That's a different matter. I understand. It is not like a tide going out and coming in.
This is not.
There is only the going out.
And another movement altogether.
Which is going in.
Which is optically going in.
So that is what tradition says.
That's what tradition says.
That is Chinese, all the rest of it. What do you say? What do you...
looking within, the looking, you see, the looking out focuses, normally
looking
focus.
out. Looking at that tree.
But the looking within ends focusing out. Ends focusing.
Ends the
very instrument which focuses. It is as if
I think I must understand this very clearly. You haven't made it very clear to me. It's not the tide going out,
No.
the tide coming in.
No.
That's clear. It is not the movement of the eye which looks, observes the external world. But, if I understand, but the looking in, which is not the ebb and the tide, the sea going out and coming in, but it is entirely different way of looking inward.
because the looking inward is also not a tide.
It's not a tide, that's understand.
It's not a tide. The looking inward can be a tide.
Of course, that's the danger of it.
The looking
That
inward
is
can also
the
be-
reaction that is. In the tide goes out, tide comes in. It is
And
the
you
same
can-
water.
Yes, you can see that. You can look in with the same.
I mean, it's the same water.
Yeah.
Whereas this going out optically and the looking within are two different, entirely different processes.
Yes.
That's right.
Would you say the seeing without the outer seeing is of this nature?
You see, I question this whole thing.
Yes, that's what I wanted.
I wonder if there is a looking within.
Can we explore that?
I'm beginning to. I wonder if there is anything of that kind, looking within. Looking within implies a movement of thought. I'm asking, does it imply a movement of thought?
No, sir.
Then, if there is no movement of thought, then what do you mean by looking within?
By looking within, I would say it is a seeing of that which exists at that particular instant, both within and without.
Huh?
Both within and without. There is no within and without in that state.
That's the whole point, you see. No, let's be very clear. The tide goes out, the tide comes in.
Yes.
What traditionally, from what you are saying, which may be right, which may be wrong, I don't know, I can't. You are saying the tide going out and the tide coming in is not like the outward looking and the inward looking. The inward looking is not the reaction of the outward looking.
Yes.
The inward looking is entirely different from the outward looking.
Yes.
This is what you are telling me.
Yes.
And that inward looking dispels the whole structure of thought.
Yes.
That's what you are saying.
Yes.
I question that. Whether there is inward looking at all. Just let me go easy a minute. I'm just exploring properly. I'm not saying that it is so. What is there to look inwardly? One can look inwardly from what you have said into the whole movement of thought.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Is that inward looking?
I would say it is inward looking because there is a physical looking.
Yes, the outward going.
And it's a non-physical looking. That is, the looking is physical, but what is seen is non-physical. Thought is not a thing which is like a microphone.
No, all thought is a material process.
But it's so fleeting.
Huh?
It is so fleeting.
I know, but it's a material process. Remembrance, the recording of knowledge, all that is a material process.
Yes, you may say that, sir, but there is a distinction still
That
between seeing a microphone and seeing a flashing movement of the mind.
But that flashing movement of thought is still a material process.
Yes, But all right, I agree to that. It is a material process. Its existence is in a dimension which we call the within.
Is called within.
It's a dimension which we call the within.
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 I question that whole thing.
Now, it is somewhere, sir.
Yes. Why should it be within and without?
Because it is not without it. It is not something which is visible without.
Oh, I see what you're trying to get at. It is not visible as one's face in the mirror.
Face in the mirror.
And thought cannot be perceived with the eye.
Thought?
As you perceive the face in the mirror.
Yes.
As you you can perceive your face in the mirror, but thought cannot be perceived in the mirror.
Yes.
So that which is not perceivable is what you call the inner.
And yet it exists.
Huh?
And yet it exists. It exists.
Yes. But I would question whether it is the inner at all.
You know, sir, you can take away the word inner and put another word.
No.
Where is it?
I'm going to tell you something. I believe the Eskimos, when they use the word thought, they mean something outside.
Yeah, but I'm talking of myself.
That's very interesting. Look at it carefully. Think about it.
Yeah, I understand, sir. But I'm taking myself. I say there is something which I can see outside, which is the physical sea. The nature of thought itself I can never see.
Is?
The nature of thought itself I can never see with the same optical.
You can't. It's very simple. I can see my face in the mirror. I can't see my thought in the mirror. That's simple.
I cannot see. Where do I see it?
What?
What is the seeing then?
That's why I don't think there's a seeing at all.
And yet you have kept on saying see.
Seeing.
Yeah.
Seeing the flower.
But seeing also anger.
No, I said that seeing.
You've said something just now.
Yeah, the seeing.
That there may not. I don't think there is seeing at all.
Yeah.
Can we investigate?
Yeah, that's it.
Because there may.
Now wait a minute. I must be very clear on this point, because this is rather interesting. I must be clear. First, there is the hearing with the ear, and there is a hearing without the ear, which is like a mill pond that's absolutely without a single movement. There is no air that ruffles it. And the question is popped into that like a piece of stone, and that wave. The waves are the answers.
The waves are the answers
to the question. Of course.
Which it throws up itself.
Yeah.
Which the question itself.
That's right. He said so right from the beginning. He said if you must approach the question afresh and all the rest of it. So the very throwing of that question into that mill pond produces the answer. There is no entity that answers. Now that's very important. Now, bearing that in mind, the seeing of the face in the mirror is clear. You see your face in the mirror. But the seeing of thought in the mirror is not possible. Now, and so, what is the seeing of thought? Yes. That's what you mean. I don't think there's a seeing of thought.
Then what actually takes place?
That's what we're going to find out. First, let's be clear, there is no seeing of thought. Then that implies there is a seer and thought separate. Just the wind. So close it, sir. Otherwise it'll go on. Bolt it, sir, bolt it. The seeing of the face in the mirror is clear. The mirror cannot reflect thought. And the seeing of thought implies there is the seer and thought. The seer is thought. So, there is only thought, which cannot be seen in the mirror. There, so for me, there is no inward looking.
Then what do you mean when you talk of seeing of what is?
Seeing of what is to not only observe with the visual, with the optical eye, with the optical nerve, but also hear what is, without the ear what is. It implies all that, seeing, hearing.
But you say thought cannot be seen.
No, thought cannot be seen with the inward look.
But by what is thought seen?
Thought cannot see.
If it is not seen by the inward look, it is not seen as you see in the mirror. And yet there is a seeing.
No, I wouldn't use the word see.
Then what would you use?
I would use thought becoming aware of itself.
Thought becoming aware of itself.
Of its own activity.
So are you telling me, sir, you have been talking all these years of seeing of what is?
I said that, seeing of what is.
Yeah. Oh,
seeing.
Also.
Yes. Seeing what is happening.
Yes.
Actually inwardly.
Yes.
Which is not the observation of what is happening with an optical eye or with another thought. Seeing implies that.
So what is that state?
And that's what's that state we are inquiring into that. If you say, as you say, seeing inwardly, I say that's not possible. I say then you are bringing about a dual state, the seeing and this, that which is seen, right? Right?
Cannot be there's a seeing without a dual state?
Yeah. Seeing implies and non implies in that there is no the opposites.
Yes, because it has the same quality as that lake.
Yes. That's why I carefully went back to that. When you say inward looking, I don't think to me that sounds an artificial and from you say traditional approach. I think the thing works like the lake. The thought itself has to be quiet as the lake, and when you put a question to that, then the question is being answered from the lake.
No, but sir, anger arises or jealousy arises.
Yeah, now but say jealousy. Jealousy arises.
It is a material thing.
Huh?
It's a material thing. It's a material thing.
Absolutely.
I grow aware. Let me put it. I grow aware. It is already over. It is because I cannot see. that which is over. What is, I cannot see what is over.
No, you said jealousy arises.
Jealousy arises, but...
And the watching of it...
Can there, this is one of the things which has always puzzled me. Can there be a watching of the actual state of jealousy arising? It
Yes.
would not arise.
Yes. No. Look. There is jealousy. The word, the fact, which is a reaction, which is named as jealousy. Before you name it as jealousy, can that reaction be watched? Not as a watcher watching. You follow? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
But the watching in which there is no opposites. Just to see the reaction. The seeing of the reaction, I mean by that word, seeing, is observation without the eye or the ear.
Say that again, sir. Say that again, sir.
The observation of the arising of that reaction is the non-hearing, is the hearing without the ear, the seeing without the eye. Crazy. Crazy. No, let's be clear what we are saying. I am saying, we are saying this, Prabhuji. A question is asked. And that question is like a piece of stone dropped into a mill pond. Mill pond is absolutely quiet. The very answer is the dropping of that stone into it. Comes out from the wall, because of the stone. Otherwise, it's quiet, right? Now, what we are talking about is not the tide going out, the tide coming in. It is an observation of what is without the previous remembrance associated with what is. That's all.
And you say that is neither optical nor oral.
Now, obviously.
But yet you use the word observing.
Observing. Observing in the sense, I explained that. In the observation, there is no remembrance of the thing which you are seeing, which is being observed. I'm right in this. Let me go slowly. In the process of observation, there is no center from which it is being observed. The center being memory, various conclusions, hurts, there is no point from which is being observed. Right? And in this observation, there is no conclusion, there is no association with the past events, which means the seeing is as quiet as the mill pond. And the question is, or the thing, what is challenge, what is a challenge, and the mill pond, which is so quiet, the challenge drops into it and responds. That's clear. I'm very clear. I don't know if I conveyed this at all.
if I may take it one step further.
That's right.
There's
I must get this point clear to myself. After having
you've said a number of new things to me.
What?
You've said a number of new things.
I must be very clear on this myself. Yes, quite right. Let's go ahead.
The ripple is the response.
The ripple is the response.
Now, I have...
that's a marvelous idea.
I know, I see that. I have observed you, sir, listening to your own response, with the same way as you listen to a question.
Yes.
Do you listen to your response? You respond.
Yeah. I'm listening to see if it is accurate.
That's what I'm asking. This is something which I've always found. You listen to your own response, so that your response and what another person is saying, as far as this non-ear is concerned, are at the same level.
Let's get this clear. I haven't understood your question.
Sir, normally when a person responds, he never listens to his own response.
No.
He is always listening to what the other
yes.
is saying.
Let's take that for...
He never listens to his own response. At least I don't listen to... I watch myself. I don't listen to my own response. I listen to my own response afterwards.
Casual talking, you don't listen.
No.
But if you're talking seriously and you're listening to the questioner and you're listening, there is an act of listening.
Yeah,
both directions.
Yes. Yeah, I take...
Not I'm listening to my response. There is only listening.
Yeah. But you listen, and if what is said is not so, you move
away from it.
There is a total flexibility, if I may put it.
Yes.
There is no taking an answer and holding to it.
Yeah.
Now,
you see, if the pebble is very light, the ripple is just two ways. But if it's a small rock, it goes down and brings great many waves. If the challenge is great, the waters must move a series of waves. But if the challenge is very light, there is just a ripple. So, the act of listening is not only to the person's challenging, but also listening to the question being answering. It's a total state of listening from the questioner and the person who replies. Yes, when the person who replies, it isn't quite as it should be. There is not. Because you are listening, there is a withdrawal from that. And then you change it, move.
There's another thing which I've seen.
So I've discovered something. There is no inward looking.
I want us to go into that greatly. I've just been taking it in.
There is only looking.
Sir, in jealousy, is the response the same way?
What?
Is the response of the mill pond to a questioner's question?
Yeah, I told you.
And in jealousy...
Mill pond, you know what mill pond is? It is dead quiet. It is not a ripple on it. You drop a stone into it. If the stone is just a tiny little pebble, it has just, But if you drop a really heavy thing, the ripples will go on.
Now I'm saying when the reaction which we normally call jealousy within oneself, how does the mill pond respond to that reaction, the jealousy? In the same way?
Of course.
What is the mill pond, sir?
No, but if where there is a mill pond,
Can there be jealousy? I know, but that is why I'm asking you.
And that she said she began by asking, what can we investigate your mind?
I'm not in.
That's why he's answering. If you say, what is that mill pond?
I'm not.
And she asked it, what is that mill pond? That's a different question. If you say, what is the mill pond, which is your mind? We enter into something quite. I don't know if I would investigate that.
You wouldn't, sir?
I'm not sure, I said.
I mean, it would take another. I don't want to raise it today, but I think it is a thing which has to be raised with you.
What?
I think it is a thing which has to be raised with you.
Which is, what is
that mill pond?
First of all, whose mill pond?
No, we are talking now. If I may say so, we are talking.
Is it the mill pond, the mill pond of your mind, case mind, or the mill pond of a person who is agitated and all the rest of it? That's not a mill pond.
No, we are talking of case mill pond, because I mean, what is being attempted here is to see how far one can go in throwing open case mind.
Yes, I understand I know what you're saying. That's what she's asking too. She say, what is the state of the mill pond that apparently K has?
Yes.
I don't think K is aware of this mill pond.
What are you aware of, sir?
No, this is important to understand this.
No.
K is, if he is aware of it, it's not a mill pond.
No.
Wait. Yes, that's right. That's right.
So, but if I may ask,
Go ahead.
what is the inner nature of yourself?
What is the?
Inner nature of yourself.
Oh. I'm trying to ask, what is the inner nature of K's mind, of K? Would you, if I replied, nothing, which means not a thing, would you, there's nothing. Would that be acceptable? Would you comprehend this state of case inner being? He says there is nothing, absolutely nothing.
So may I go back to what you said just before this important question was raised, and that is, you say K cannot be aware of the mill pond. He cannot. Give the nature
Of course not.
Do I understand correctly that you mean that any examination, to use a bad word, of it would be a use of?
No, it's like measuring the immeasurable.
Well,
I'm not saying that my mind is. You follow? It's like measuring the immeasurable.
would you say that the mill pond shows itself only in those ripples?
Yes.
Otherwise, nothing else could be said about it? Or otherwise it doesn't really
No,
itself?
you see, the word is not the thing. I've fallen back on an old trick.
Are you saying that any examination of it is on a totally different level?
You can't examine it.
Well,
with what are you examining
well, that's
it?
the point. If you cannot examine, I mean, are you saying it would be an examination using the tool of thought?
Thought, word, image, pictures, and so on.
Well, then, if you cannot examine something,
No,
because it would enter into thought and
it cannot be
verbal
examined.
levels, how can those of us who may not have a mill pond, what is our tool? Do you understand? The tools that are available to the mind, in your case, would not apply or be touched or used to examine something. And
Yeah,
yet you're
so
telling us to
ordinary
examine ourselves without those tools.
ordinary person's pond is constantly in agitation.
But whatever our...
From that agitation, you're asking the question.
But you are saying we should not use, and then all these thought, etc., to examine.
I am telling you, you cannot examine it. And you keep on repeating different ways. You cannot examine it.
You cannot examine it with the tools we have.
You cannot examine it.
No, which are you talking about, ourselves or your mill pond? Because
you ask my people raised the first question. Well, we want to examine your mind.
Your mind. Yes.
My case mind. And case says there is a state of absolute nothingness, and that nothingness cannot be examined. Because the examination implies measurement. And there is no measurement to nothingness. Full stop. Right?
Why does it imply measurement?
Huh?
Why does it imply measurement?
Of course it implies measurement. All examinations are a process of measurement.
What about perceptions?
Huh?
What about perception?
And no. You can only perceive nothingness if your mind is also, of course, obviously.
May I take it one or two steps further? Before I take up another thing, I wanted to ask you, in this, your investigation in a discussion, I also find that there is great use of the pause. You pause.
Yes.
What is the significance of the pause?
What is music? Space between two tones, right? Now, K pauses. Why does he pause? I don't know. I've not thought about it. I got it. K pauses probably to see that the answer is from the mill pond. I think, I mean, more or less.
Yes, I understand. Now, the very dialogue which takes place, question and then movement, and it appears to the person who is observing that it appears, sir, I may be totally wrong, it appears that you start at the same level as the person with whom you are discussing.
Yes, yes, yes.
Now, I have a very serious question to ask you here. Is it that the mind, that the pond, the mind which is nothing, enters the state of the mind of the person who is in duality?
No, no, no.
Then?
No.
Does the
there is no remembrance of nothingness. You understand, people? Just go into it. If care remembers nothingness, it is not there nothingness.
Yeah.
Right. So, it is there, but it doesn't. We don't enter into that. You are asking a question. So I say,
how do you comprehend my duality?
By listening to what you are saying.
But you don't know the nature of duality.
No, but you are. I'm listening to you saying what? How to be rid of jealousy? How to be rid of something or other? What? And I see you cannot get rid of it. My instant reply is there is no riddance of anything.
No, but there is also another thing. I may make a statement. I see. And you will say, immediately you will say, is that a theory or is that a fact?
Yeah.
There is a capacity within you to tell when the person is speaking.
Oh, obviously, everybody has that.
Not always, sir.
Huh?
Not always.
No, not always, but as I have been questioned for the last 50 years, it's fairly quick.
Now, out of this question, out of this, it grows intenser and intenser and intenser. Out of the questioning, suddenly you say, I see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what is it which brings about that insight, which then makes everything
clear? Because, as I told you, I listen, the K listens, you, Maria, Mrs. Ahilyaji and somebody or other, all are talking and I listen. The listening is to that, and listening also, listening. And suddenly there comes out of nothingness.
In the very listening, there comes that.
Because to me, what is important is the act of listening. There is a listening to the question, like a pebble in the rock. It's simple.
Now, is this state of yours, which you have spoken about in the last, I don't know how long, the same as takes place when you are having an interview and when you sit on that platform?
No. When I sit on the platform, when Kay sits on the platform, quite different. When I interview the person, he's our problem, so both of us discuss, that's a different matter.
But when he sits on the platform?
Oh, Lordy.
Or you wouldn't like to talk about it today? Because I would like to explore that. These are things I have to explore.
Just ask before the platform, which you say is different. When you
I'm not sure it is different. That's much more concentrated. Not conscious. Then the whole, he has to be.
I'd like to, explore that.
So very quickly, if any of us are talking, the question is taken in and goes presumably through a thought process.
No.
You, the rest of us. Can one say that when you are listening seriously in an interview, that a question never obviously goes through all that filter? It goes to the middle part.
Yeah.
When in an interview.
Yeah. When in an interview.
Serious.
No, because it takes time, it takes explaining and back and forth. Why are you eating so much? Why should you? Why don't you?
One thing you see very clearly when you're having an interview with Krishnaji, that you really see the nothing.
What?
If I may say so, sir, those of us who have had the privilege of having an interview with you, that when you are having an interview with you, it is like facing a totally empty thing.
Yes.
There is nothing except the self-reflected. You throw back on the person exactly what is in the person.
Yes, that's what. Yes, Aldous Huxley, when you throws back to you, it's your, yes. Now, all right. If I'm listening, I am now Pupu, and you're K. And I asked you, how do you come to this extraordinary quality of the mill pond? That would be my inquiry. How do you capture, how did you come by it? How did you, what practices, how did it happen to you and not to me? Tell me the things that prevent the mill pond.
So proceed, sir.
Huh?
Please continue.
Proceed, sir, because you can be the questioner as well as the...
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
No one else can answer.
Yeah, that's very great fun, this. How do I get to it? First of all, I have no comparison. You tell me, don't compare. Right? It's not that you have got it and I haven't got, which means comparison. So can you tell me, can you be totally free of comparison? And that's a something new to me. It's a puzzle, it's a statement that I don't quite understand. So I say, why? I've lived by comparison. And you are asking me to throw away all the things that I've learned through comparison. The struggle, the pain, the envy, the jealousy, the drive. You see, all that must completely be dissipated, right? And you tell me, don't take time over it. Don't say, I will do it tomorrow. It must be done instantly. That's what you tell me. And because I've listened to you very carefully, all with my ears, the hearing and the non-hearing with my ear, I'm very alert to what you're saying. And I say, yes, I cannot possibly dissipate it through time. It must be, I see it. You are very challenging, that makes me respond. your challenge being very vital, very urgent, very forceful, that very challenge awakens in me the quality of urgency. And so, yes, I say, all right, I understood. I've understood so completely, it's wiped. Right? That's how I would act if you put it to me. And I say, and you tell me also, don't accumulate anything except clothes. Don't accumulate memories, problems, nothing. Don't accumulate. Because I'm listening to you. Therefore, I really have understood it instantly. You tell me clothes. So that's trivial. Don't even bring that. So don't accumulate anything, hurts, memories, name, form, nothing. Don't accumulate. Understood, sir? Immediately. Because my whole being is in listening to you. Then you say to me, every problem must be resolved instantly. That requires a great deal of back and forth. At the end of it, I see what you mean. And the ordinary things, no fear, no, they understand pleasure, don't suppress it, don't understand the whole movement of pleasure and the ending of sorrow and all that. I'm in a state like I'm surrounded by an immense stretch of water, and the water is warm, healthy, sane, and I'm swimming in it. And I'm swimming in it, and what I won't leave you. You understand? I won't leave you because every time the flower is different. I don't know if I'm talking. Like somebody says to me, why does Mrs. Rao or Mrs. Smith or Wilson come and listen to you every year? I say, I don't know. But if I was Miss Wilson, Mrs. Smith or Mr. Scott, I would come and listen every year. If possible, every day, because the flower is different every day. Beauty is different every day. That's all. Finished. Namaste. Now Rajghat. Sorry, you have to go, you remain. This tape stops, sir.